In the dark of the global justice system, there are stories of imprisonment and hopelessness that go beyond the usual. These stories come from some of the most well-known female jails in the world, where people's lives are at their most extreme. Behind the iron bars and guarded walls, the lives of women in prison are shaped by the harsh realities of their surroundings, from the hard routines to the constant fight for respect. When we look deeper into these institutions, we find a world that questions what we know about punishment, redemption, and the complicated role of gender in the criminal justice system. In this video, we will talk about some of the worst female prisons in the world, where stories of survival, resilience, and the search for humanity weave together in ways that will both shock and educate you. So before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for our future updates. Number 15. Julia Tutwiler Prison in Alabama, United States of America. The current Julia Tutwiler Prison for women was formerly known as the Wetumpka State Penitentiary. It is situated in the most remote parts of the state of Alabama in the southern United States. Julia Tutwiler, who was a well-known champion for prison reform throughout her life, had the prison renamed in her honor in 1942 when she was still alive. Tutwiler was a significant figure within the confines of the jail, where he was known as the Angel of the Stockades. He was able to transform the prison from a hellish place into a setting that was tolerable. Tutwiler Prison, on the other hand, is considered to be a maximum security facility due to the fact that it houses the infamous death row. This does not mean that life in the prison is easy. In point of fact, the facility was just recently ranked as one of the 10 worst prisons in the United States. In addition, the facility has been the subject of an investigation because of the high rate of officer on inmate violence that occurs there. Number 14. Grand Valley Institution, Ontario. This Canadian prison is the only one of its kind in the entire province of Ontario. It is located in Kitchener, in the province of Ontario. However, despite the fact that it is situated in the enchanting natural setting of good old Canada, it is still one hell of a scary place. In point of fact, the jail is primarily famous for the death of inmate Ashley Smith, who was 19 years old. Smith's passing resulted in a massive investigation by the legal system and a great deal of controversy all over the world. Ashley was frequently transferred to a variety of different facilities due to the fact that she had a reputation for engaging in disobedient behavior. On the other hand, Ashley was caught on camera in 2007 attempting to suffocate herself with a piece of fabric while she was being held in one of the infamous solitary cells at Grand Valley. Even though guards were watching the area, it took another half an hour before anyone decided to interfere. There are 2 documentaries that have been made on the event, and both of them address the role that the prison played in her tragic death. Number 13. The Pollsmoor Prison, Cape Town. The highest security facility at Pollsmoor is widely considered to be among the most terrifying and stringent of its kind in the entire world. In addition to housing both male and female criminals, Nelson Mandela was the most renowned inmate to ever dwell at Pollsmoor Prison. He once referred to the facility as the truth of Oscar Wilde's haunting line about the tent of blue that prisoners call the sky. But what became of the prison's most well-known female inmate? Marlene Lindbergh, who was just 18 years old when she was convicted of stabbing Susanna Magdalena van der Linde, the wife of her boyfriend Christian van der Linde, who was 47 years old. Marlene Lindbergh was given the nickname the Scissor Murderess for reasons that you can only guess. Lindbergh was the youngest woman ever to be convicted of murder in South Africa. She was promptly sentenced to death, but her sentence was later commuted to life in prison. Holy cow! Number 12. Heilongjiang Women's Prison, China. The Heilongjiang Women's Prison is well known for the harsh treatment it metes out to inmates who break the rules and is located in the northern Chinese province of Heilongjiang. However, the prison was recently in the news when a Chinese woman disclosed that she had been subjected to horrific abuse and torture for nearly 3 years while she was held there. The woman stated that she was often tied from behind, held in isolation, and beaten by both prison officers and other inmates. It was rumored that the woman was subjected to torture because of her religious beliefs. The prisoner further asserted that the guards were so intent on convincing her to abandon her religious beliefs that they would do whatever in their power to achieve this goal. However, when it was revealed that the institution had also been probed for unlawful organ harvesting, when convicts complained of having their blood removed from them without authorization, that was the least of her worries. Wow. Number 11. Prison Holloway, London. Prior to its closure in 2016, Prison Holloway was widely considered to be among the most renowned and well-known female jails in all of the world. Holloway was the first of its kind and the largest prison in Western Europe to solely employ female officers. It was also the largest prison in Western Europe. The correctional facility first opened its doors in the year 1852, and at the time, it accommodated both male and female prisoners. However, as a result of a rise in the number of women who committed crimes, the authorities decided to turn it into a prison that is only for women. Holloway was well known for its severe treatment of convicts and its difficult living conditions. Nonetheless, it was also the birthplace of a number of notorious felons. Holloway was home to a diverse group of people, including suffragettes, prisoners of war, and the notorious child murderer Myra Hindley. Hindley, who along with her partner at the time, John Brady, was responsible for the deaths of 5 children in Manchester, England, in the late 1960s. The crime sparked indignation not just across the globe, but also within the institution, leading to multiple altercations and disagreements. The prison has been the subject of a number of songs, movies, and television episodes over the course of its history, and it has ultimately developed into something of an odd tourist destination. Sadly, though, there have also been a number of suicides, with the most recent one happening in 2016, only a few months before its eventual closure. Number 10. The Bandiap Women's Prison, Australia. Maximum security is provided at the Bandiap Women's Jail, which is situated in Western Australia close to Perth. This facility houses female inmates who are serving lengthy sentences or who are on remand. The facility had only 68 beds for female inmates when it opened, but they immediately expanded it to accommodate more inmates. On the other hand, it was revealed that convicts were sleeping on mattresses placed on the floor in addition to doubling up in beds. This was done despite the fact that overcrowding was still a significant issue within the jail. Despite the Minister for Corrective Services guaranteeing that they had fixed the overcrowding concerns, images recently revealed that mattresses were still placed on the floors of the prison, with many of them adjacent to the toilets. This is still a huge problem, despite the fact that the Minister for Corrective Services stated that they had fixed the difficulties. In point of fact, because of the extreme lack of available space, the prison does not have adequate facilities for taking showers, providing medical care, or housing telephones for inmates. Number 9. Prison Style, Cheshire. Located in the rolling hills of Cheshire, England, Prison Style is a closed-category facility that caters to female adults and juvenile offenders. In 1898, the building that now houses a female-only prison opened its doors to a group of young and homeless children as an orphanage. In addition to having a reputation for having one of the worst records for the number of inmates who committed suicide in England and Wales, Style Prison is often considered to be the most restrictive facility in the entirety of the United Kingdom. In addition to the widespread problem of violence and drug usage within the confines of the jail, overcrowding has emerged as a significant obstacle, which has resulted in the passing of several inmates. Even though a report from 2004 claimed that the jail was placing its inmates in danger, it does not appear that anything has been done to improve the quality of life for those who are incarcerated there. Number 8. Kaken Concentration Camp. Let us be honest, a prison camp in North Korea is not going to be a pleasant experience under any circumstances. Behind a tiny hill to the east of the city center in Kaken County, Ingan-named province in North Korea, is where you will find this camp. The prison is approximately 1,000 feet long and is surrounded on all sides by a high wall that is topped with sharp and lethal barbed wire. It is one of the largest in the country. The majority of those held at this facility, which houses both males and females, are considered to be political prisoners. There are, however, a few detainees who have been convicted of more typical offenses. The prison camp is notorious for its exceptionally lengthy sentences and its unforgiving environment, and it is quite improbable that any inmate will survive their time there. In point of fact, one female prisoner who did make it out alive revealed to reporters that approximately 20% of the inmates passed away over the 2 years that she was incarcerated. Number 7. The La Mesa Prison, Tijuana. The La Mesa Prison is notorious for its strong women, severe conditions, and unusually frequent uprisings. It is located close to the border between the United States and Mexico. The prison was the site of 2 deadly riots that occurred within a matter of days of each other in the year 2008, the most well-known of which occurred in that year. The first one began on September 13th and concluded with the deaths of 3 convicts. This occurred as a result of anger among the inmates at the death of another inmate. Then, only a few days later, the second riot started, which resulted in a death tally of an astounding 19 inmates who had been refused water owing to the violence that occurred before. However, the prison is also connected with a Catholic nun, Sister Antonia Brenner, who was known as La Mama, or the prison angel, during her time there. Brenner voluntarily spent over 30 years living within the prison, and she was frequently depicted caring for and preparing meals for the female detainees throughout that time. Number 6. Chiang Mai Women's Correctional Institution. The Chiang Mai Women's Correctional Institution of the Thai Department of Corrections is a hybrid establishment consisting of a jail on one side and a massage parlor on the other. This makes it one of the most peculiar places on the list. In all seriousness, the female penal prison in Thailand is also a vocational training center that focuses on the rehabilitation of wayward women. It is located in the old city of Chiang Mai. The prison is not only well known all over the world, but it is also a well-liked tourist destination, and people come from all over the world to see it. Every day, thousands of customers line the walls of the jail in anticipation of receiving a massage from one of the facility's inmates, as well as some food and coffee following the conclusion of the massage. This may not be the most terrible experience in terms of horrible things that might happen, but can you picture having to massage up to 30 or 40 hot and sticky tourists every day? Not interested. Number 5. The Lowell Correctional Institution, Florida. Lowell Correctional Institution, which houses female inmates and is one of the largest facilities of its kind in the United States, can be found in Marion County in the state of Florida. In 1956, when it first opened its doors, the facility became the first female jail in the state of Florida. Since then, it has been home to some of the most dangerous inmates in all of the United States. Sheila the Peeler is, without a doubt, the most terrifying inmate in the history of the women's prison where I worked. This is despite the fact that romantic rival killer Rachel Wade and kidnapper and murderess Tiffany Cole were both housed there at one point. Sheila the Peeler is a woman who is currently serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole for the murder of 2 men. She earned the nickname the Peeler because of the horrifying ways in which she would torture her victims, whom she subsequently claimed were pedophiles. And as if that was not bad enough, the prison just recently saw an outbreak of tuberculosis, which resulted in 7 confirmed cases, and the authorities have no idea how the illness managed to make its way into the facility. Then, in 2014, a female inmate named Latindra Ellington passed away under mysterious circumstances after composing a letter to a friend in which she detailed the torture she had been getting from a person she referred to as he. That is definitely not the kind of jail you want to find yourself in. Number 4. The Parapana Agrahara Central Prison, Bangalore. The Parapana Agrahara Central Prison, also known as just Central Prison, is the largest prison in the state of Karnataka in India. Despite having a capacity of only 2,200 inmates, The prison currently houses a staggering 4,400 inmates. It is not surprising to find as many as 8 or 9 inmates sharing a room given the widespread problem of overcrowding in prisons. The female prison is the most recent of the structures and has the fewest number of inmates, despite the fact that it holds both men and women. However, it was just recently discovered that a few of the prison guards had been selling the female detainees to the male convicts in order to generate money. This was done in order to keep the female inmates quiet. Following an initial denial of the allegations, it was later found out that particular female prisoners had been forced to labor in the kitchen area throughout the night. This was done so that the guards could more easily avoid being spotted by other inmates. We can count ourselves fortunate that the guards were eventually examined, which resulted in the firing of a number of jail guards. Number 3. The Silverwater Women's Correctional Center, Australia. The Silverwater Correctional Complex is one of the largest maximum security prisons in all of Australia and can be found in the suburb of Silverwater in New South Wales, which is located west of the city of Sydney. The jail is notorious for the scary and terrifying convicts who have languished behind its terrifying walls throughout its history. The facility is code and houses both male and female inmates. In point of fact, the prison was formerly home to one of Australia's most well-known female inmates. Her name was Alice Lynn Chamberlain Creighton, and she was doing time for the unjustified conviction of murdering her 9-week-old baby. Chamberlain never stopped insisting that her daughter had been devoured by a dingo after being stolen from her tent while the family was on a camping trip. Chamberlain was initially condemned to life in prison in 1982. However, he was later released after the conclusion of the final inquest in 2012, which ruled that the infant passed away as a result of being attacked and taken by a dingo. This led to Chamberlain's exoneration. Number 2. The Metro State Prison for Women, Atlanta. At a time when it was one of the most dreaded prisons in the entirety of the United States, Metro State Prison has since been shut down because of the severe circumstances and disruptive inmates there. The correctional facility in Georgia's capital city of Atlanta started out as a male jail but transitioned to housing only female inmates after a significant number of female inmates moved in closer proximity to the institution. According to reports, the conditions inside the jail were so deplorable that a number of convicts attempted to end their own lives in order to escape. In fact, one convicted murderer ended up taking his own life inside the facility. Lynn Turner committed herself by taking an excessive amount of blood pressure medicine after being found guilty of killing 2 of her husbands with antifreeze and receiving a life sentence for the crime she committed. The infamous walkway region was formerly referred to as a path to hell itself because to its lengthy and terrifying death row. Additionally, the location is well known for its other intimidating features, such as the death row. Now that it is ready to reopen later this year, the prison will once again strike fear into the hearts of those unfortunate enough to land up there. Number 1. The Indiana Women's Prison. The Indiana Women's Prison holds a significant historical distinction as being the first adult female correctional facility established in the United States, marking a pivotal shift in the nation's approach to the incarceration of women. Its inauguration in 1873 was a significant step forward in recognizing the need for separate facilities that catered to the unique needs and circumstances of female offenders. Throughout its history, the prison has gained recognition for its role in providing specialized care to a diverse group of inmates. The facility's reputation is closely tied to its commitment to addressing the specific requirements of inmates who are mentally ill, physically disabled, pregnant, or elderly. This emphasis on individualized care sets it apart from conventional correctional institutions, reflecting a growing awareness of the distinct challenges women face within the criminal justice system. Over the years, the prison's infrastructure and services have undergone continuous improvements to accommodate its expanding inmate population. This commitment to enhancing the facility's resources has led to a substantial increase in the number of incarcerated individuals, reaching an astonishing 600 inmates in 2015. This growth highlights both the evolving nature of the prison's role and its ongoing challenges in managing a larger and more diverse population of women offenders. One of the prison's notable characteristics is its status as the sole facility in the state of Indiana with a designated women's death row. However, at the time of the provided information, there were no inmates on death row, shedding light on the complex legal and ethical considerations surrounding capital punishment. Throughout its history, the Indiana Women's Prison has housed several high-profile offenders, each leaving their mark on its legacy. Notable among these is Gertrude Banaszewski, whose actions generated significant headlines and notoriety. Banaszewski's involvement in the torture and eventual killing of 16-year-old Sylvia Likens during the late 1960s stands as one of the most shocking and horrifying instances associated with the prison. This tragic case has been referred to as the single worst crime perpetrated against an individual in Indiana's history, reflecting the gravity of the incident and its enduring impact on the collective memory of the state. The Indiana Women's Prison occupies a unique place in the history of the American penal system. Its inception as the first adult female correctional facility, its dedication to providing specialized care, and its association with high-profile cases all contribute to its complex and evolving narrative. The prison's story underscores the broader evolution of women's incarceration in the United States and the ongoing efforts to balance punishment, rehabilitation, and social awareness within the criminal justice system. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.